Alright, good afternoon. This is Lynx, and I'm doing the next video here in the installments on the Black Cat Oracle. And we went through several others. This is the fifth video? I did four more. We went through the sort of what makes a kingdom. We went through the 6 archetypes. We went through the mind, how people think. And I'm going to do the 4 personality types right now. These are the 4 fruits that you can find in the in the deck. So you got the durian, which is angry and stubborn. You got the pineapple, which is cautious and suspicious. You got the cherry, which is impulsive, and you got the peach, which is the risk taker. So now here's the thing with these. These are types of people that you're going to meet during the course of a day, and when you're doing readings about how a situation is going to turn out, or what you can do in a situation to make it turn out the way that you want it, sometimes these are very important things, because sometimes you're going to have to go up against someone who's stubborn. Sometimes you're gonna make plans and they might fall through because the person that you're making them with is impulsive. They're likely to change. Sometimes it means you're gonna have to take a risk to get what you want, and this one is the cautious and suspicious. Now, I said in another video you can look for other personality types, but observe, go out, observe, see what kind. You will be able to categorize people and their behaviors in any one of these. This is the person who digs their heels in. They're always the last to get the reward because they're always the last one to want to change. This is the person who does the same thing again and again and again. They do it over and over again. They're angry, they're stubborn, they want it their way. When they're angry, you've got to come to them because they're never going to come to you. They always expect you to come to them to work out whatever it is. Quite often these individuals make up things in their mind, reasons to be angry, something to feed that anger, and they'll come up with it whether or not you even know what it is. They made up a reason to be angry and they expect you to come work it out with them. Don't fall into that trap. You got the cautious, suspicious type. Prove it. I want to know. Prove it. You have reviews online? I need to know. I want to know. They're never going to take a risk until you prove it. And a lot of times there's not enough proof in the world, and by the time you've proved it and satisfied their suspicion, whatever the opportunity was that was coming their way is probably gone. Now I'm going to show you a progression, on a fortune-telling progression here with these. These guys are the impulsive guys. These are the ones that are likely to take a risk in a situation where they feel comfortable. So for example, maybe you've got a young woman, she's a very beautiful woman, but she doesn't have a lot of confidence in the office or in her career. But when she goes out and she's meeting people, she's got a whole lot of confidence because she has a confidence in dating. Maybe she was really successful in dating when she started making her way into adulthood from childhood, and she learned that dating was really easy for her, but she struggled in her life, in her career life. So she was sort of willing to take a risk because she figured she could handle whatever the outcome was in dating, and if it didn't work out, she figured she could probably meet someone new. But in her career life, maybe she struggled a little more, so she's less likely to take a risk. So these people who are impulsive, they're going to take a risk, but only in the area of their life where they feel comfortable. That area in their life where they feel comfortable is going to tell you an awful lot about them, because that's the area they're likely to be impulsive with. Those who are impulsive too can also make a decision on a whim. So let's say a person or a situation is impulsive. It might be rocky. You might have to do something to solidify it, because it says, well, this is kind of an impulsive situation. It might fall through. So think of that when you're reading with this one. This one is the risk taker. When it represents a person, that's the guy or the gal who's willing to take that risk because they know in the end, whatever the outcome, they can handle it, because they understand that they are not made by they're not defined by their money, or they're not defined by their family, or they're not defined by their career. They know that if they take the risk, eventually it's going to pay off. Now, I'm not talking about those people who gamble and gamble and gamble the rent money away, or those people you see at the slot machines putting, their Social Security check. Those are impulsive people. Those aren't risk takers. The risk takers are the ones that look for the long-term gains and say, you know what, I'm going to take the risk to make it happen. They're also the ones that will do the work that it takes to make that risk pay off. Okay? So now here's the thing. when you're reading for these kinds of people, or when you're reading a situation, chances are whatever you see happening for this kind of person is going to stay the way it is now. So you're pretty easy to say this is going to be the outcome. And it's not likely to change, because if you tell them, hey, you got something coming your way that's good or bad, they're likely to stay with their heels dug in either way. Or if you tell them something's coming that they disagree with, they might actually dig their heels in, and then what good or bad was coming their way, they might avert because they dug their heels in. These are the people usually, they're so negative, they're so dug in that you tell them something good's coming their way, they're like, okay, good. They wait, and they actually push whatever it was that was good away. And they'll say, well, you didn't know, you said something good was coming. And it's like, nah, you were angry and stubborn and you pushed it away. If you'd have just relaxed, let it go for a minute, it would have come your way. Then you got these guys, the cautious and suspicious guys. They're likely to push whatever good thing coming their way too, because they usually don't believe it's going to come for them. So when the pineapple comes up and you tell someone something's coming their way and you see that pineapple, be aware there is a chance that through their cautiousness and their suspiciousness, they might actually guard against the very thing that could bring them bliss or good or fortune or whatever it is. These guys are the guys that are probably going to lack confidence in a situation. They'll lack confidence too. These guys will really lack confidence. The angry and the stubborn, the ones who's like, you can't convince me of anything. Those are usually the people with the weakest identity. The ones who are like, all right, let me hear what you got to say. I want to think about it. I want to know. I want to learn something new. I want to be exposed to some new idea. These are the guys that are probably going to get the biggest gains, and they have the strongest sense of themselves and probably have the strongest identity. So when you're reading for an impulsive person, realize that you could nudge them and push them in the direction of getting great success if you see the possibility coming when you're reading for them. And these guys, if you encourage them, go ahead and take that risk, they're likely to take that risk and they're going to get those rewards. So that's one of the ways that you can determine how they're going to interact with whatever it is you see when you're doing a reading for them. So that's how you use the four fruits. Now you can combine them with other cards in a fortune-telling sense just like anything else. This could be a stubborn and angry woman. This could be a stubborn and angry partnership that you're dealing with, or two people who are in a partnership and they're being very stubborn and angry and pig-headed and not listening to one another and both wanting to be right. So if you're reading a relationship and you see this one, you're likely to say, hey, you guys are both wanting to be right. You got to give up there. Let something go. Compromise. They're not going to compromise. These guys will compromise because they're willing. They'll say, hey, in the long run, the relationship is what matters. And I'm willing to take a risk to get better. These guys are also willing to go through uncomfortable moments to make something better. So if you got a relationship, you know what? Let's make ourselves better. Let's do something. Maybe it makes us uncomfortable right now, but in the long run, it gives us greater rewards and make us stronger as a couple. Okay? So, let's say you got this one here. This one is suspicious of anything that makes them feel good, might be. Or this one is someone who is superstitious, especially if this one was here. Their suspicion makes them suspicious of everything except whatever superstition they have, and even then they're probably likely not to believe it. So this is how you combine these cards. Impulsive one, say, okay, this one might tell me that their hope rises and falls very easily, so it sort of changes with the wind blows. So you could say, okay, yeah, I see that you got a lot of hope, but it's not going to be sustained here. This could be an individual who is impulsive in love, or this one who's impulsive with this might be a gambler. So you got the wealth card in this card, okay? So that's how you do it. And then you got the risk taker, like I said. So this one could be someone who's taking and making a big risk because he wants the payoff to be the legacy that he leaves behind. So that's how you use the fruits in a variety of different ways, and that's a little deeper understanding of how you use them. If you haven't seen the first 4 videos on how to use this a little more deeply, then go ahead and check those out. They're here on the YouTube channel. If you have any questions, put them in the thing below, and I'll do my best, as always, to answer them. If you want to get a hold of your own copy of the Lucky Links Black Cat Oracle, go ahead and look at the link. I'm going to put the link to my Etsy site below, and you can click on it and get it through there. I send directly to the printer for it, and it's sent directly to you, so they're printed to order. I'm Lucky Legs, as always, wishing you success and good fortune in all you do.